The Opium Wars, Part 2, Foreign Occupation, Imperial Expansion, and the Prolonged Decline of China, 1842–1911. The 1842 Treaty of Nanjing failed to deliver peace or restore stability to China. Rather than ending conflict, it marked the beginning of an age defined by foreign control, economic exploitation, and deepening internal weakness. As the first in a series of so-called unequal treaties forced upon the Qing dynasty by Western powers, it steadily undermined Chinese sovereignty and hastened the collapse of the imperial system. Following Britain's victory, other European powers, including France, the United States, and later Russia, demanded similar privileges. Additional treaties forced China to open more ports, grant extraterritorial rights to foreigners, and accept fixed tariffs that prevented the Qing government from controlling its own economy. Foreign merchants, missionaries, and soldiers now operated within China beyond the reach of Chinese law. Opium, though still officially condemned by the Qing court, expanded rapidly under foreign protection. By the mid-19th century, the drug trade had become deeply entrenched in Chinese society, draining silver from the economy and further weakening state authority. The imperial government, financially crippled by war indemnities and trade losses, struggled to maintain basic administration, pay troops, or respond to disasters. Internally, unrest spread. The Taiping Rebellion, 1850–1864, one of the deadliest conflicts in human history, erupted partly as a consequence of social collapse, poverty, and state weakness, intensified by foreign intrusion. Tens of millions perished. While the Qing dynasty survived, it did so only through regional armies and foreign assistance, further undermining central authority. In 1856, Britain, citing minor diplomatic disputes, launched the Second Opium War, joined by France. Once again, superior Western military technology overwhelmed Qing defenses. In 1860, Anglo-French forces marched into Beijing. The occupation culminated in the systematic looting and burning of the Old Summer Palace, Yuanmingyuan, a deliberate act intended to humiliate the Chinese state and demonstrate absolute imperial dominance. The resulting treaties of Tianjin, 1858, and Convention of Beijing, 1860, imposed even harsher terms: legalization of the opium trade, further port openings, foreign embassies in the capital, and expanded missionary access throughout the empire. China was no longer merely defeated, it was subordinated. During the latter half of the 19th century, a series of reform initiatives collectively called the Self-Strengthening Movement sought to update China's military and industrial capacities while maintaining Confucian political traditions. These reforms were piecemeal, poorly coordinated, and ultimately ineffective. Meanwhile, foreign powers persisted in annexing territory, securing privileges, and shaping Chinese policy to their advantage. By the dawn of the 20th century, China's vulnerability was clear. The Boxer Uprising, 1899–1901, a fierce and desperate backlash against foreign control, was swiftly suppressed by an 8-nation coalition. Nation Alliance. Beijing was again occupied. More indemnities followed. The Qing state's legitimacy collapsed. In 1911, less than 70 years after the First Opium War, the Qing dynasty fell, ending over 2 millennia of imperial rule. China entered the modern era fractured, impoverished, and struggling to reclaim sovereignty, lost not through natural decline, but through deliberate imperial aggression. The Opium Wars were not isolated conflicts. They were a turning point in global history, an example of industrial empires using military force to impose addiction, dismantle economies, and reshape civilizations in the pursuit of profit. What began with tea ended with the destruction of an empire.